Good morning, team. Hope you guys are doing good today. We are here. NASDAQ almost to 25,000. Very close. Hope you guys are doing good. Walmart pre-market today. We got Morgan Stanley earnings supposed to drop pretty soon. Yeah, so markets are up today as traders are kind of digesting the last few days. Again, futures are mostly up. Government still shut down. Today is day 15. And sorry, I'm kind of transitioning everything here. Look at gold, man. What made gold dump down so big this morning? Look at gold fall. Bitcoin down to 112s. Red. Nvidia back up a little bit today, I think. NASDAQ green. Gold is at like 4200s. If y'all have looked at it this morning, gold crazy. Look at gold right here. Gold at $4,200 plus 4216s right now for gold. Again, Jerome Powell spoke yesterday. We had mortgages show up already. U.S. MBA 30-year mortgage rate showed up at 6.42%. That was a little bit lower than the last one, which came in at 6.43% last time. We had the European Union trade chief is going to meet with the Chinese commerce minister next week. Eli Lilly had some good news. We had Bank of America earnings. I'm going to put up in chat. Bank of America, BAC, did release earnings. They are up pretty big from this. Here's the earnings for Bank of America right here. They posted 106 versus 95 cents. Expected EPS revenue of 28.1 versus 27.38. A little bit better than expected on both fronts there. So they're reacting positively to this up to 52.5. Again, we do have Morgan Stanley dropping pretty soon. Yeah, I got coffee. Sorry. I'm kind of walking again, which is good. I have to wear this stupid boot on my foot, but I'm starting to walk again, which is good, so I don't need the crutches anymore. But because of that, it's taking me a little bit longer, you know. Yeah, I hope that goes well, Pawn. Yeah, it's been wild. Free market's been wild. We got a bunch of stuff going on. Trade tensions with China are still here. U.S. threats on cooking oil, rare earths. I don't know why I can't pronounce that. Import fees heightened. Oil down. You know, I did buy Home Depot a few days ago. Home Depot is still under $60 a barrel. 5-month lows. Global supply surplus and weaker demand. Global data uncertainty is spilling over. Other countries are now warning of data darkness because the U.S. releases are offline, complicating their policy and forecasts. Again, economic data remains suspended. It's the government shutdown, and the markets are back up a lot. So if we put up a daily chart. Let me put up like an hourly chart. I think that's a little bit better. You can kind of see. We're back up to the top of this range here. The question, though, in my opinion, is that if we can't get over 25,000 on the NASDAQ, like here's where the gap started. You know, if we can't get back over 25K, that's where we rejected last time. It's right around where we are now. And so I'm curious to see if we're going to get over 25K here in the NASDAQ. Not sure if we're going to be able to do that. If we can, I think that's great. But if we can't, yeah, we'll see. No, I bought Home Depot a few days ago. Look at Home Depot. We're very green on Home Depot. Look what Home Depot did yesterday. You know, and Home Depot was not one of those stocks that got beat up last Friday. This was Friday for Home Depot, right? And so Friday for Home Depot was here. We bought it around the 370s. Let me see what my average price is for Home Depot. We took a little profit on it yesterday, though. My average price is 380 even. So my average price is here. And Home Depot is up to 390s. So very nice move. Very nice move. You love to see it. Another nice little swing trade, you know. I don't think I was a minute late. I think I was pretty here, you know. I think I always start the stream at almost exactly the same time, which is 5:15, almost 5:16 market time, or central time. 6:15 market time. Somewhere around 6:15 I'm starting. It might be at the end of 6:15. But yeah, it's always the same time. Yeah, look at gold, guys. Gold up to 4,200. At this point in time, a $5,000 gold ounce is honestly kind of reasonable to expect sometime soon. Let's do a poll. Speaking of gold, when will gold hit 5K an ounce? When will gold futures, is what I'll say. I'll do this week, this month, this year, next year. When will gold futures hit 5,000 an ounce? It's getting pretty close. Honestly, gold's going up about $100 a day, maybe a little bit less than that on average, I would say. Yeah, gold flying up, man. Data centers, nuclear, quantum, again, easiest money. Yeah, quantum has been moving up too. Again, let's watch for Morgan Stanley earnings. They're supposed to drop like right now. So let's see what they show up as. Morgan Stanley's right here. It's already up. Bank of America is up today. Earnings season's here again too. So like earnings season's throwing a wrench in all this stuff. Right? Like we got all this crazy stuff going on in markets, and now earnings season is here again too. We got the shutdown, we got Powell, we got rate decisions, data blackout from the shutdown. The Trump and China problems that's going on, and now we got earnings here too. So it's interesting. Yeah, silver over $50 an ounce, gold or $50. What is it? $50 per 1,000 ounces of silver. I know it's $50 an ounce. Wait, let me see. What's the measurement of silver that we're looking at? Is it ounce? Yeah, 50 an ounce. Okay, so yeah, silver. Let's watch Morgan Stanley though. I'm looking for earnings release for Morgan Stanley. Morgan Stanley's about to release their numbers. Technically scheduled for 20 seconds from now. So we will see what they show up as for Morgan Stanley. We're here waiting. Bank of America is already out. Morgan Stanley's supposed to drop soon. Watch for volatility. All right, so they're supposed to drop right now. Watch for Morgan Stanley movement on this bottom chart here. I'll make it a little bit larger, but that chart right there, Morgan Stanley. So let's see. They're already up a little bit though. I don't think their earnings are out. Their earnings are technically scheduled to release. Let me make sure it's the right time. Morgan Stanley 7:25 Eastern time. That's right now. All right, that's right now. It's 7:25 Eastern. All right, they're up a little bit. They just broke highs of the pre-market session. Look, there they go. Nothing yet. Come on, Morgan Stanley. There they go. I think they're out now. Look. Morgan Stanley doesn't have the big hype that a Mag 7 company does. I'm usually covering Mag 7 earnings. But yeah. Next week, I think we got... All right, Morgan Stanley is out. They posted 280 EPS versus 209. Revenue of 18.22 billion versus 16.7 billion expected. Yeah, so the BDPSB revenue. It went up to 160.50. Again, we're watching gold a lot today. It's not me, bro. Not me that needs to fix the ad issue. It's just kind of how it goes on the stream. I think it's doing it for a bunch of streams. Yeah, bet on gold is basically betting the shutdown and continues too, I think. BlackRock and Nvidia strike a $40 billion takeover of one of the world's largest data center operators, according to Financial Times. But look at this news that just came out here, guys. Like, I'll put this at the bottom of the screen. Look at this. Read the bottom of the screen. BlackRock, Nvidia, $40 billion takeover. Again, Morgan Stanley, BDPSB revenue. Yeah, Bitcoin's up here. This is Bitcoin right here. I can move it down a little bit. Yeah, but this is Bitcoin. Bitcoin futures, but yeah, it's Bitcoin. Bitcoin is down a little bit today for some reason. Closed at 113.5s. It's at 112s. 112.5 is down about $1,000 today. Gold up. Morgan Stanley just reported earnings. Nvidia is very green. Again, the level I'm looking at right now on the charts is this 25,000 is right here. And this was the level that we struggled to get over after the crazy drop that we did on Friday. I don't know, man. I think, honestly, I'm pretty neutral and biased today. I'm pretty neutral. The reason I'm neutral bias-wise is because we dropped a lot, now we're up a lot. And so I think we could either continue down or we could rebound higher. I think either one of them is very reasonable to like make a thesis about. I don't think it's very easy to determine which way we're going today. And I don't think we have really an easy sign of either way. You know, I don't know. I'm looking for the data center now that the deal was done on. Oh yeah, is there some space for Bitcoin? ASML, yeah, ASML had earnings. They're gapping up big from this though. Look at this, ASML. Yeah, tomorrow we got TSM earnings. I mean today we got TSM bank, or tomorrow we got TSM. This evening we got like UA. JB Hunt, some other small. Tomorrow TSM earnings. TSM earnings drop at like 2 a.m. though, just remember. So like TSM, it's in Taiwan, and so their numbers drop at 2 a.m. our time, Eastern time, 2 a.m. So we got Charles Schwab as well tomorrow morning, Bank of New York, some other stuff. The big earnings are really dropping next week though. We got some stuff. We got like IB on Thursday, Amex on Friday, Ally on Friday, SLB, State Street, Fifth Third on Friday, Huntington Bank, Comerica on Friday. But the big boys are really dropping next week here. If you look at next week we got Verizon, Coca-Cola, Tuesday, like a bunch of retail Tuesday morning next week, October 21st. Verizon, Coca-Cola, GE, Elevance, Lockheed Martin, RTX, GM, 3M, Philip Morris, Equifax, NASDAQ, and more on Tuesday morning next week. And then we've got Netflix Tuesday evening, and a bunch of other ones. And then Wednesday morning, we got a bunch of stuff too, but it's a bunch of different companies. We got like Boston Scientific and more, AT&T. Wednesday evening, we got Tesla and IBM. And QuantumScape. So, and a bunch of other ones too. But Tesla Wednesday next week. Thursday, we got a whole bunch of stuff too. And then Intel on Thursday. Intel might be a little bit more interesting than normal too, just based off of all the craziness going on with Intel lately. Here's the NASDAQ breaking under the 200 exponential. So it's at 24.9s. But I would say the busiest earnings season for me, where we have most of the Mag 7, is going to be the last week of this month. Last week of this month, we have SoFi, PayPal, UPS, Boeing. We got Meta, Microsoft, Google, same day. All same day. Meta, Microsoft, Google, all at the same time, really. Meta, Microsoft, Google. This is going to be October 29th, the same day as the Fed meeting. So that'll be interesting. Carvana, same day next week. And then Thursday we have probably Apple, I'm guessing, right? Yeah, Thursday we got Apple next week, or the week afterwards. So Coinbase, Reddit, MicroStrategy. Abbott Laboratories, one of the largest anti-cannabis lobbying groups in the world. I think they donated 6 figures to both sides of the political sphere. And yeah, I don't know why I know that. So, there was a site that used to tell you these type of things, right? Weirdly enough, the site got taken down. Very strange, but interesting nonetheless. They just dropped earnings though. Here's Abbott. Yeah, when is AMD earnings? Let me see. AMD will be exciting. I'm covering AMD for sure. It's November 4th though, so it's next month. Hopefully the shutdown will be over by then. When I'm looking at all these days next month, that's what I'm thinking of. I'm like, maybe the shutdown will be over. I'll be back to my, the good old days where I can cover economic data. Speaking of economic data, today we have the Empire State Manufacturing data. It's usually small, but I'm going to act like it's big today because it's something. All right. I got to take what we can get right now. And we got the Empire State Manufacturing data today. 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. We're covering it. See what happens. It's expected at negative 1.8. Last time was negative 8.7. I don't know if it's going to move markets, but I will act like it will. And then tomorrow we got the Philly Fed Index. I think the Philly Fed Index actually comes out, but we'll see. NASDAQ's kind of chopping sideways here on Wednesday. Are you more bearish or bullish on gold after Powell's speech? I think Powell's speech was pretty dovish. I think he talked about ending quantitative tightening. I think he basically reciprocated what he said last time, which the odds were 97% likely for rate cuts. If we take a look at yields, though, yields might be behaving in a different way. I haven't really looked at them this morning, to be honest, yet. Yeah, yields are lower, which shows a lower interest rate sentiment. So yields are lower, actually, this morning. And again, it looks like yields have consistently gone down from Powell's speech, which would show a lower interest rate sentiment generally, right? So, like, here's yields. Down to almost 4% even. 4.017% right now for 10-year Treasury yields. If we take a look at rate odds at the Fed Watch tool, yeah, we're at 98 to 2%. So 98 to 2%. I think Powell basically reciprocated what he said last time. He said he acknowledged labor weakness. He talked about potentially ending quantitative tightening, and I think all of that is good for rate cuts, obviously, and it's good for lower interest rates. And I think the market interpreted it as such and mostly reacted positively to Powell's speech and panel. So TSM will be a huge boom for semis. Maybe, yeah. Did you guys end green today? Or did you guys lose money? Or did you guys end green yesterday, I mean, or did you lose money? Let me know. I'm tempted to attack the 25,000 level on the NASDAQ, but I don't know yet. All right, we're pretty sideways here. I'm curious about this range right now. Green Day, but done trading before Powell. Yeah, I'm on Top Step. AI infrastructure partnership, which includes BlackRock's global infrastructure partners, Microsoft and Nvidia. Data centers. Yeah, I mean, data centers I think are pretty safe in the AI boom right now. Even if we correct, I think data centers are going to be more resilient than a lot of other sectors, just based off of how much we need them. Yeah, I just think they're going to be. I think they're going to be much more resilient than a lot of other things. Market right now. Ugh. Yeah, look at gold. Does anybody know why gold did this early this morning? I'm still trying to figure it out. AI doesn't seem to know. Yeah, Top Step has a discount right now if anybody wants to take advantage of it. Let me figure out the code. Hold on. They should have sent you guys an email if you're part of Top Step. But you get 25% off. Yeah, it's Let's Go 25 for 25% off. It expires on the October 21st. Yeah, they're probably going to end quantitative tightening over the next few months. That's a dovish thing for mortgage rates, is what that is, right? So if you want to know what the effect of that is going to be, that's a dovish thing for mortgage rates. It means they're going to stop restricting liquidity in MBSs, and so it's better. As well as treasuries as well. But they've already reduced treasuries by 80%, right? They've kept MBSs the same, so. What are your main thoughts on BDCs? Let me look that one up. Yeah, let me look that up. Yeah, I mean, these are kind of like bank VCs, you know. I don't know a ton about them, but they've had some interesting movements. They're kind of back and forth, though. Like, if you look at how they've done this year, a lot of them are flat, like MAIN. But they do pay out a pretty good dividend. Main yield 6 to 7%, so it's a game you got to play in terms of, like, will the stock go down and pay, you know, or will it go up and I get paid a big dividend, you know? Yeah, silver's flying up right now. All right, look, we just broke over that trend here. Up to 42.18s, 42.18s. Yeah, I might take a couple Top Step combines right now with this. Yeah, you basically get a Top Step combine for $40 in that situation. So it's like 39 something. Nice. Check it. All right, NASDAQ back up here. All right, let's play around with this new combine I just bought. There it is. Might buy a little dip, attack 25K in this thing. Again, Abbott Laboratories out with their numbers here. I think that's all the big earnings today. Let me check and make sure. Yeah, Dollar Tree still set to drop. It's supposed to drop at 6:30. I don't know why they're not out yet for DLTR. For Loja set to drop at 8 a.m. Again, Morgan Stanley released earnings. Gold coming back down, though. Again, we do have the Empire State Manufacturing Index today, which is good. Ericsson's up about 10 cents from yesterday's open. I mean, that's good. You know, 20 cents maybe. It's just, look, it's just not my style. I'm not really interested in it. Look, I get it. People are hyper bullish on all these different things, but for me, it's just not really something that I'm going to buy. I don't know enough about it. It's not, you know, I buy stuff I know, and Ericsson I do not know. The only thing I know about Ericsson is that a long, long time ago, they produced okay phones. But that was 20 years ago, and now I don't know what the heck Ericsson's doing. So, it might be good. I don't know. I'm not saying it's bad. I just don't know anything about it. You adapt your market to whatever happens on a given day in the market? Like, am I the only one who eats sardines and old bread for dinner on bad days? Yes, you're the only one. I usually just eat whatever I want, you know, to be honest. I eat terribly, too. Carol hates it. My favorite foods are, like, burgers, pizza, and barbecue. So I'll get, like, the healthiest meal I probably eat is like brisket, Brussels sprouts, beans, and corn, you know. I'll eat healthy foods, but it's like, you know, I don't like it. I grew up in South Louisiana, you know. The food I like is terrible, but it's good. But it tastes very good. Almost every streamer I listen to is very bearish on the market. Well, that's cool. I mean, look, I'm not saying they're wrong. I don't know. You guys know me. I'm pretty reluctant to give out, like, super big outlook or anything like that in terms of... I think we could have a couple scenarios here. I think overarching look at the market, I think we're probably kind of extended on the upside. But the market's been resilient. And just because everybody thinks the market's going to crash does not mean we're going to crash. And I would actually say that in general, usually when everybody thinks the market's going to crash, we don't crash. You know? A lot of streamers are going to be bearish because they get more attention when they're bearish. Right? They get more clicks. More people tune in to watch a fire burn, essentially, is what it is. And again, I'm not saying we don't drop. We might. I really don't know. I think a lot of people could argue we're in a bubble right now. It depends on how much this easing cycle that we're starting to get now affects everything. If we continue to cut rates and market gets stimulated in that way, maybe we don't crash. I don't know. But I don't think most people think we're going to crash by the time we do crash, you know. Yeah, TSM earnings tomorrow morning, early 2 a.m. We will see. And again, I'm going to preface what I'm about to say with, I'm not saying we don't crash. Okay, I'm genuinely not. It's definitely possible. But just to put this into perspective here. Here's the SPY, okay? Right here And now, granted, this was a different dynamic. This was right after a big pullback already, right? But right here, a lot of people told me we were going to crash right here. A lot of people said, oh, we're going to crash. It's a bubble. Everything's bad. We're going to crash. Market's up too much. You know, all the same stuff. And if you keep going forward here, again, this was right here at 250 on the Q. Banks came out saying it was skeptical that we were going to enter a recession and all this stuff. We had one of the longest bull runs in history. NASDAQ was up 100% within a year or two. It's now up well over that at 600 now from 250. And so the point is, and again, what I will say here, I'm going to preface this again with like, I think this time looks a little different. I think the risks are certainly a little bit higher now of overvaluations in tech and AI. I think there's a little bit more risk now, for sure. And when I say risk, I mean risks of big corrections, crashes, bear markets, bubble bursting. I think the risks are certainly a little bit higher right now. Just based off of the PE ratios that we're seeing, the movements that we're seeing in everything, I think the risks are a little bit higher. But it doesn't mean it's going to happen. Just be careful. Don't think anything's 100% going to happen because you never freaking know, and the market can be very, very tricky in that regard to time. Again, the president threatens trade retribution against Beijing over soybeans. China sanctioned U.S. units of a South Korea shipping company on Tuesday yesterday, and Beijing essentially promised retaliatory measures on the industry in the latest tit-for-tat move. The president also said later yesterday on Truth that he believes China is, quote, purposely not buying our soybeans, end quote, and considers it an economically hostile act. So he then posted potentially some de-escalation. The president added that his administration is considering curtailing trade with the country as retribution, blocking cooking oil imports. But still, he did try to de-escalate it after Wall Street had a sign of relief on Monday as he hinted at a possible de-escalation, saying, "Don't worry about China, it will all be fine." Highly respected President D had a bad moment, he wrote on Truth. So we had Jerome Powell yesterday. Jerome Powell essentially reciprocated what he said last time. Faye, Ryan, Marco, Stan, RK, R, Kai, Quantum, Beef, Dragos, David, Rob, Cap, Farmer, Waylo, Brown, Doe, Ado, Jesse, Lost. Alright, guys. Trade deal will be done October 29th with China. I work in IT, so we all know the AI story just started and will last for some time. Well, of course, the AI. Look, don't take my words here as I'm somehow pessimistic about AI. Of course, AI is the next big thing in technology. I think this is incredibly clear. I think AI has grown exponentially over the last 3-4 years, and if you look at that pattern, if you extrapolate that into the future, it's going to be crazy good, and it already kind of is within 10 years. You know, we're going to see humanoid robots with AI. We're going to see a lot of different things get replaced by AI, and AI is going to ingrain itself into all of our tech, into our homes, into everything. It's going to be the next big thing, just like the internet was in 2000, right? The bubble bursting in 2000 was not a negative sign regarding the internet. The internet was resilient, and obviously in hindsight, 20 years later, 25 years later, the internet is now ingrained into everything, just like AI most likely will be. But it doesn't mean we're not overvalued right now, short term. It doesn't mean markets don't need to correct a little bit. I think a correction is healthy. I think best case scenario, to be honest, over the next few years, we see a big correction. Not a crash-like correction, but like a nice 11, 12% correction. And then we rebound from that, I think is the best case scenario. I think that's a healthy sign, right? I think gold is almost $4,000 an ounce at 42 plus. NASDAQ is up to $25,000. And so I think markets are up huge, and corrections can be healthy too. No, we don't have CPI data today. Markets, government's still closed. Yeah, government's still closed. We don't get any economic data until we do have Empire State manufacturing data in 30 minutes, 35 minutes or so. We do have something. We got Empire State data in 35 minutes. We got something coming up. Yeah. 1007, I agree. A time-wise correction where it just consolidates for a year, I think is fine. February highs were at 539s. We're at 600s now on the Q. NASDAQ, if you look at it in the same light. February, we were 23,000. We're up to 25K. So, I mean, it looks bullish. The trend looks bullish. The chart looks bullish, but I'm nervous. I'm looking at 25,000. Yeah, I like watching gold. Gold makes sense to watch, I think. Government shutdown till November 16th. That would make it, what, 30 plus 16? That would make it 46 days. Government shutdown, longest in history. Not to mention that a few companies are comparatively overvalued, just like .com companies were during the .com bubble. A few big players are safer bets, whereas a few stinkers will poof. Right, like I think one of the risks here, and what happened during the .com crash is that, and again, I've gone over this story a lot, but it's important to understand with people making rumblings about like this mirroring .com crash scenario. I think it's important to explain what happened then, which was like in the .com crash, the internet was the next big thing, right? Just like AI is today. The internet is the next big thing. And so because of that, we had companies start IPOing pre-profits. Netscape was one of the first. Prior to Netscape, companies didn't really IPO pre-profits. Netscape did. It was wildly successful in its IPO, made billions of dollars. And other companies started following suit. They started jumping on that bandwagon and started IPOing pre-profits. We had high PE ratios. We had companies that had .com at the end of it, just because they had .com at the end of it, going for crazy valuations in their IPOs, right? And this continued up until 2000. Any company that got involved with the internet and .com at the end of it would IPO for wild valuations most of the time. And we had a lot of really overvalued companies by 2000. Eventually, some of those companies grew, like the true health of those companies started to show by 2000, and we just got this big correction, big correction. And the internet was the next big thing, but like with that big correction, it dragged the market down for a long time. And really, the .com crash led right into 2007, right? So we dropped and had bear years, like red years from the .com crash. And then by the time we started to rebound back up, 2007, 2008 hit, and then boom, right back down. So the bear market lasted a little bit longer. Some people like to reference, oh, it lasted until, 2012, 2013, 2016. Kind of. But I would say we really had two big market moving events happen consecutively within a 10-year period of each other. And that's why we had such a longer period of time before we ended up breaking those previous highs. But yeah. Hey, thank you, Bulldog. What's up, Bulldog? Appreciate it, brother. Thank you, sir. Hope you're doing good, man. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely possible, Cap. So when many chattering about a bubble, markets go higher. Very, very possible. At the same time, though, you know, one of the big instances where that wasn't necessarily true was the dot-com crash, right? Like the dot-com crash, what preceded it, you had a speech. I can't remember who did the speech. It was titled Irrational Exuberance. And so there were rumblings about a bubble in the late 90s, you know? And so, you know, it's true to an extent that a lot of the time when everybody thinks we're going to crash, we don't. But it's not always, you know. Like, again, in the 90s, some people did get it right. Let me look this up. I think Warren Buffett got it right. Man, I tried to spell exuberance and I got it right. First try. Yeah, in the 90s, internet exploding, Fed Reserve successfully fought inflation, interest rates were low, tech IPOs were creating overnight millionaires, everybody believed a new economy had arrived. Alan Greenspan famously called this irrational exuberance in a speech in 1996 leading into the dot-com crash, you know, 4 years prior to it. He said, quote, "How do we know when irrational exuberance has unduly escalated asset values, which then become subject to unexpected and prolonged contractions, question mark. The next day, markets dipped briefly, then soared for 4 more years. People mocked him. Yeah. And then 2000, check came. So... yeah, again, 4 years later, it happened. All right, it's now 8 o'clock in the morning. We got the 8 a.m. run here. I might buy this little dip on my challenge account. It's a challenge account. It's a, you know, don't go up right now. Wait for me to jump in this. I'm going to buy a NASDAQ here. I just want to see if the NASDAQ moves up test 25,000. Tell my stop by beginner trading. I hear John speaking facts. Really nice to hear some real. Hey, thank you, man. We try over here, you know. I try to just be honest, but I appreciate it, Bulldog. Thank you, brother. Yeah, I just try to be honest, to be honest. You guys know me. Historically, I've been kind of critical of, like, crash predictions. But I think this one scenario is a little bit more valid to think that we might correct a little bit. At the same time, though, like, just to give you the other argument, right? Like, there might be another argument here. Got the bounce back up here. I don't know whether to add this or take profit. On the other end of that, we've had a lot of big corrections already. You know, if you look at the NASDAQ here, we had April. This would be instrumentals. Not instrumentals. We've had a lot of corrections. We had April right here. You can see the big pullback. We had this big pullback in the earlier 2020s. Now we had 2020 drop. So I'm just gonna go ahead and add to this. See if we keep pushing up. We're up a few hundred now. Prologis just posted earnings. We'll put this number up in chat. PLD. Now, some of these work, I mean, you can consider them crashes. April was probably a crash. It would drop 26% on the NASDAQ. 2020 was, I think, pretty big, but we rebounded very fast as well. So, S&P Global. All right, there we go. I'm going to take a little bit of off here if I can. There we go. We got out one. S&P Global agrees to a $1.8 billion deal for private markets data provider buyout with Intelligence Markets' latest effort to serve clients in booming private capital markets. All right, we're getting very close to 25K here. Look at this. All right, I'm going to jump out right here at the top if it lets me. All right, we're out. Yeah, we're up about 250. Not a bad little dip buy. We'll take it. I wanted to ride it up. I mean, here's 25K. So we get another big pullback. I might buy back into it here. Home Depot's still ripping up too at 390. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the other argument, Ryan, is like maybe we've already got the big drops. Yeah, here's the thing, like what I consider healthy market movement personally, right? And maybe I'm wrong here, and y'all can tell me if I'm wrong. I'm open to hearing it. What I consider healthy market crashes are genuine corrections that last a few months before we rebound back up. You know what I mean? Like if we dip down, if we dip down 10, 15%, and then by the next day or two we're back up to highs, I don't really consider that a healthy correction, right? If anything, I think that leads more to the other end of it. But if we go down 10%, 8%, 7%, we stay down for months, and then we start to fight our way back up slower, I think that's healthier, personally. Because, you know, I don't think, at a certain point, the upward movement is not quite as sustainable as you want it to be, right? Especially like gold, almost $5,000 an ounce. NASDAQ, 25,000. I think at a certain point, it's hard to sustain that, you know? And again, let me know if you agree with me. I'm not mad at you if you don't. Again, I asked when will gold futures hit $5,000 an ounce. 31% think this year, 26% think this month, 17% think this week, 25% think next year. Right, exactly. Like you don't want to just go straight back up and fill the gap and then break highs again. That's not really. That's not. It kind of counters the whole point of a correction. All right, guys, we do have the Empire State Manufacturing Index at 830. We'll see if it moves things. NASDAQ's still getting closer to that 25,000 level. Let's watch it, see if it holds up there. Again, ASML posted 641 versus 627 expected. Bank of America 106 versus 94. Morgan Stanley 280 versus 208. NASDAQ up to 24.90. It's about $20 away from 25K. Oracle is collaborating with Microsoft to enhance supply chain efficiency. We got some other stuff too. Yeah, we had PNC Financial post 435 versus 405. Quantum is kind of crazy right now, but if it catches up, look at this move right now. Oh, NASDAQ right up there to 25,000. Look at that level right there. Nvidia's moving up. Meta, Oracle. What was the news I just saw for Oracle? Microsoft. Yeah, this is Microsoft and Oracle collaboration to enhance supply chain efficiency. Oracle and Microsoft. NASDAQ now over 25,000. This is a big level right here for the NASDAQ. Over 25K. Look at this move. Synchrony expects a gradual reversal of credit tightening in areas with strong risk-adjusted growth opportunities over the coming months as macro conditions support via the earnings call. So SYF is the company. NASDAQ over 25,000 right now. Over 25K. Oh, I got way too many of those right here. This. This. Out of this. Alright, the Fed watch tool is still 98 to 2% likely of a rate cut. Let's see if NASDAQ holds 25,000 now. It's now over 25K. Oh yeah, we do got the Empire State Manufacturing data today. I forgot. Let me cover this. Yeah, we do have the Empire State Manufacturing data, 8:30. I don't know if it's going to move things. I'm going to pretend it will just because we don't have any other data to cover, guys. What's Microsoft Office, bro? I don't even know what that is. Microsoft who? No, I'm just joking. Kind of. $6 million shares by Goldman Sachs. Yeah, AMD's flying up today. It's at 224s right now, 224s. NASDAQ pumping up, though, over 25,000. This is a big milestone level, too. This was like one of the highs of the... We had that big dip last Friday, and then we rebounded back up to around this 25,000 level. Then we couldn't really get over it the last time we tested it, and now we're over it. So let's see if we hold here. I think that's a big story. Buy is double 350 in 5 years. A 5-year period, I mean, that what averages 20% a year. Oh, Oh no, that's just in hindsight. I have to look at what the actual gains were. Actual gains were probably... All right, guys. NASDAQ at 25,007. Any Charles Barkley fans? What about Swarles Barkley? Huh? NASDAQ still up to 2510s here, guys. 2510s for the NQ. Oracle launches Fusion Application AI Agent Marketplace to accelerate enterprise AI adoption here. Oracle's up. Microsoft up. That's new. Apple up. Nvidia up. Look at this. Swarles Barkley is a joke. It's from a TV show. I'm old. You wouldn't understand, you know. All right, guys. Nvidia down to 184.50s. Projecting at this level. This. See if the NASDAQ holds. I really want to see gold coming back down. It's almost down to 4,200. I'm also wanting to watch like 4,200 and now. Gold. Pumping AI today. Yeah, I mean, it's like every day. Yeah, we got Empire State Manufacturing data today at 15 minutes. Maybe we're going to get some good stuff. I don't know how much is going to move markets, though. Tomorrow we got Philly Fed Index. I'm pretty sure that data still comes out as well. Maybe that'll move things, too. But I'm not optimistic. We're supposed to have retail sales, CPI, inflation, and more today, but we ain't getting that. Wait, were we supposed to get another payroll report on Friday? We were. Still nothing here. NASDAQ got up to almost 24,000 or 25,020 here, 25,017. Oh, look at gold's contraction right now. NASDAQ pumping, gold dipping down again after Oracle was launching a Fusion Application AI Marketplace to accelerate enterprise AI adoption. We also had some news. Oracle and Microsoft partnering to enhance supply chain efficiency is the news really making markets go up, I think. I'll put this on the scroller as well. NASDAQ testing that high again. Look at gold come all the way down to 4,200. $2,200 an ounce for gold. Gold coming down. NASDAQ pushing up here. 25.16s on NASDAQ. NASDAQ broke highs again at 25,017. Gold now under $4,200 an ounce. Still dropping for gold. NASDAQ still pushing up. AMD going up. Bitcoin falling a little bit. Gold falling. NASDAQ ripping at 25.20s. Look at this move here, guys, on the NASDAQ. I should have held that dip. Remember I said I wanted to buy it because I think it might test 25,000. I should have freaking held it. I'd be up huge in that position. Oil going up. Oil's cheap right now. It is cheap. Yeah, oil's up to 59. Gold holding support at 4,200. I don't think AMD's gonna split at $200 a share. Maybe. Generally, like, companies want larger price than that because splitting makes the shares more affordable for people. Yeah, TSM earnings tomorrow. Maybe people getting optimistic. Still up. We're at 25. Watch 25 right here. 5 is right here. Watch this level. Yeah, well, hindsight's 2020. Of course I'm going to say that sometimes. So, of course I'm going to get out early. I'm the top 3 biggest wimp traders in trading, you know? Quote that. Let's watch 25,000. Gold bouncing at 4,200s. Bitcoin is a scammer and a Ponzi? I don't know, man. I don't think so. Yeah, AMD's up. Okay, look at AMD. I like the stream. You gotta turn down your music. Did I turn down the music? Okay. Here. Oh, sorry. What I realized, guys, is that the desktop audio was a little bit loud for yesterday's Powell speech. I turned it down. That should be a little better. I just want to make sure that my voice is louder than the music, which it should be. But I appreciate you liking the stream. Thank you. That's the way to give out a you know, constructive criticism. This is what I tell my wife, right? Look at this drop. Let's watch 25,000. Hold on. All right, we're going to buy 25K. It's a combine account, by the way, so if we fail, it doesn't really matter that much. But I'd love to see if we bounce at 25,000. Might reduce my size just a little bit here. For you guys, what a drop. Morgan Stanley CFO says investment banking pipeline is at all-time high. We get some news? Hold on. Huh. I don't see any news. That's the wrong way, dumpster. That's the wrong way, brother. But that's the way you give out constructive criticism. Learn from Mosh over here. This is what I tell my wife. If you want to tell somebody something critical, you kill them with kindness first. You say, hey, you know, I really appreciate you. You know, you're a good friend. You're a good family member. You know, I don't know what I'd do without you. But stop freaking bothering me. You know what I mean? Like, that's how you do it. All right, guys, we're up here. All right, I'm going to take a little bit off here. We're up about 300 on this. I have to mark it out. There we go. We took half off. We'll probably hold the rest break even, I think, here. We'll let the rest work. One micro or one mini contract like this is kind of crazy in this market. The range is so big, but we'll hold it. I'm worried we're going to dump back down under 25,000. That was a big red candle. I still don't know what it was caused for. Treasury Secretary Bessent says U.S. investment boom is sustainable and just getting started on CNBC. So apparently Bessent speaking right now on CNBC, which can be good or bad. This is what he said. All right, we're up about 200 now on this one mini contract here. I'll cut it right here. There we go. All right, we're now up over 5 pretty quickly. That's nice. Ugh, people get mad I miss some of these moves, but I think reasonably, I don't like I'll take the bounce at 25K. I'm not going to look for this whole big move. This could happen, but in hindsight, of course, I wish I had held it. But like, there's too big of a chance we come here, bounce originally, and then just kind of start going like this, which I don't necessarily want to get caught in. We might continue up as well, but Bessent said only thing slowing U.S. Trump down is the government shutdown. There's pent-up demand and America is open for business. Treasury Secretary Bessent. We are just beginning to see we are just seeing the beginning of an AI boom. Are we just now seeing it? I don't know. I think we started seeing it about 4 years ago. Government shutdown on day 15. Doesn't any side of a deal. There's a thought that they're at least waiting for this crazy No Kings rally this weekend. It's going to be the farthest. Okay, I can't even understand what he's saying. Hold on, guys. Let me listen to this. Hold on.
Now is, the mainstream media. If this were Republicans who'd shut down the.
Okay. He's okay. Bessent's essentially blaming the left right now for the government shutdown. Calling out Chuck Schumer. All right, so I'm listening. I'm sorry the music's off right now. Some of you might be happy the music's off, but I'm listening to what Bessent's saying to see if it's going to move markets. I don't think it necessarily could. I mean, I don't think it necessarily absolutely will, but it could. So the interviewer is basically saying, hey, it could be the other side's fault for that the shutdown is here. Basically, it could be the right's fault that the government shutdown is here. And they're basically kind of debating about whose fault it is right now. Yeah, we got the Empire State Manufacturing data. Thank you, K-Dog. I appreciate that because I might have forgot about it. All right, guys, Empire State Manufacturing data in about 3 minutes. Hit the live button next to the play button. It is expected today. It is expected to reopen, or it is expected to come in at negative 1.8. Negative 1.8. Last time was negative 8.7. So we'll see what it shows up as in 3 minutes. Here, they're talking about U.S.-China relations right now. They're basically saying what happened. I thought relationship was good. And then we got this rare earth restriction from China, and now it's back and forth. Things are heating up. He said they are. He said Chinese are trying to backfill the narrative, saying it's the U.S.'s fault. So now we have to do this. And he said that's not true. There was a lower level trade person who was slightly said somebody on their end He said, talking about how they're retaliating for docking fees for Chinese ships. All right, we're back down to that 25,000 level. And again, we do have the Empire State Manufacturing data dropping in about 2 minutes. Yeah, I don't know how much the Empire State Manufacturing data is really going to move anything. I really don't. All right, guys. 1 minute. I don't know how much this is going to move markets. I really don't. In the absence of everything else, maybe it'll move stuff, Chef. All right, guys, here we go. 50 seconds. I love you. All right. All right, guys, we got 20 seconds. 20 seconds. Hit the live button next to the play button. Hit the. Again, I'm gonna mute Besant here for a second. All right, here's the data. 20 seconds. 15 seconds. Look at the NASDAQ fall here pretty quickly. All right, here we go. 10 seconds. And the data ended up showing it is expected at negative 1.8. It's showing up right now. 10.7 Empire State Manufacturing. And look at the reaction here. We're actually getting a pretty big reaction to Empire State Manufacturing. Again, it came in at 10.7 versus negative 1.8 expected. 10.7 versus negative 1.8 expected for the New York Empire State Manufacturing Index. Interesting reaction. We are getting a reaction from this. Again, 10.7 versus negative 1.8 expected. Market reacted to it too. We will see. Yeah, 10.7, negative 1.4, negative 1.8 expected. Last time was negative 8.7, so this is much more positive than expected here. And the market did react originally to it. You saw the jump. I don't know if Besant's speaking here. Let me mute the music again and check what Besant's saying. He said, I'm optimistic. We are now communicating at a very high level with China. He said there have been many outreaches, and a good thing too is China has a large delegation everywhere. They have a large delegation at the IMF World Bank Week, and so he's optimistic they'll get a meeting done. President Trump and President Xi should be meeting as far as he knows, but we'll see. I think they have an excellent relationship regarding US and China. And the reason this didn't escalate is the level of trust between the two leaders. That's an enduring part of US-China trade relations, and everything else stems from that. All right, NASDAQ now under 25,000. He said, is it because the market doesn't want to see things get worse? Again, Empire State Manufacturing data showed up 10.7 versus negative 1.4 expected. Here's the data right here. This is Besant speaking right now. Besant. If we have to take strong measures against the Chinese, it won't because the stock market. We won't negotiate because the stock market's going down. We will negotiate because we are doing what is best economically for the United States. She's asking him about the investment boom in AI right now and artificial intelligence. There's this question whether we're in a bubble territory right now because of the amount of spending and how quickly it's happening on technology. Unproven technology potentially and isn't profitable yet. Are we in a bubble, she asks him. Couple things he says. I'm not an economist. I'm an economic historian. I have taught the history of booms and busts and traded them. I think we are... Could we be in the third inning? Third inning of investment in AI? Oh yeah, sure, he says. And usage. There's a very good chance we see, like in the 90s, what the internet with office equipment finally having the productivity miracle. We had substantial productivity increases in the 90s. I think we're starting to see that now, he says. This is Besant speaking, by the way. I'm quoting Besant. In terms of Silicon Valley investors and in corporate America, they think the AI implementation is just really going to start in terms of productivity for the second quarter of next year. And the other thing too is, oh, now he's getting political. But yeah. So basically, Besant's saying AI is just getting started. We're on the cusp of it. Again, I'm not saying I agree with this. I'm just kind of reporting what he said. We're back under 25,000. Let's see if the market holds. Yeah, he basically said we're in the third inning on tech. He said we're in the middle of a CapEx boom, and what usually follows a CapEx boom is an employment boom. And then now she's responding with, but what if AI replaces people? You know, and it negatively affects employment is essentially what she's asking. You're too shy with opinions? I mean, I don't know. I pretty much answer if I think... I don't know. If what about... what I do know is this. Is Besant correct? I don't know. He said, could there be some shuffling in the labor report, or in the labor market from AI and employment? Possibly. He said he's not worried about it at all. Okay, I'm going to put the music back up. The thing about this, right? The thing about Besant, okay? Whether I disagree or don't agree, it's not even any of that. I kind of expect him to say what he's saying. Why do I expect him to say what he's saying? Is because Besant is on the side of the president. And the president, of course, wants a booming economy. He wants a thriving market, a booming economy. Like, that's what he wants, right? So Besant's going to mirror that want, right? And so when Besant's going to be asked, hey, how's the economy going to do over the next few years? Besant is going to say, hey, the economy's going to do great. You know, oh, the market's going to do great. That's what Besant's going to say, right? Where somebody on the other end might say the opposite. Say, oh, we're worried about this. We're worried about that. This is normal politics for me. This is not really anything shocking to hear. I don't think Besant's going to say, hey, the economy might turn, labor market's at risk, you know, market's scary right now and overvaluated. I don't think he's going to say that. I think if he did say that, you know, his team might get mad at him. And so, and again, I'm not really judging him for that. This is pretty much presidential, you know, outlook 101. No president's going to say, hey, we're going to do all this stuff bad. Every president, you know, they're going to say, hey, this is a great economy. That's why that's why he wants lower rates. He wants lower rates because it stimulates the economy, helps him say, look at the economy I've built, right? Again, I'm not mad at him for it. I understand it. That's how it goes, you know? But, it's just kind of a expected quote from Besant, if that makes sense. So. Yeah. All right, guys. Yeah, gold still over 42,000. I mean 4,200. NASDAQ testing 25,000 again. What is coming out of my speakers right now? If AI is so smart, why aren't those people replaced by it? Matt says. Because I think everybody would be pretty scared of that. You know? You know what I want replaced? Baseball umpires. AI is certainly good enough to just replace all of them anyway. Especially at the lower level. High school umpires, terrible. You know? Replace them. Replace them now. Experiment with the, you know, with the lower level umpires. And then gradually get up there to where you're replacing freaking MLB umpires. Because we need it. You know? Get Angel Hernandez out of there. And, yeah. Yeah, get all refs replaced by it. Have them view have them view footage in replay. And, like, I don't like the system where it's very obvious something happened, but the ref said it didn't. We see the replay. It obviously happened, but the refs are pretending it didn't. I'm a Saints fan. I'm still mad about the Rams 5 years ago. You know? So, replace them all. I'm for it. You know? AI is certainly good enough to do it. No, leave the players. Replace the refs. The refs are not good. All right, NASDAQ chopping sideways here. Let me make sure Besson's not saying anything different. He's talking about inflation, disinflation. If you go through the numbers, a lot of inflation is in services, which has nothing to do with, I'm assuming he's going to say tariffs. Tariffs, yeah. And if you get a one-time price adjustment, that's not inflationary, and you know that comes out of spending somewhere else. So I'm not concerned that there is a generalized inflation increase, and we're seeing that inflation expectations are well anchored. You know, we are seeing whether it's a combination of exporters lower in prices, corporate America, because they have a lot of room elsewhere, because what one of the underappreciated things that's happening with the trade negotiations, you know, all we hear is, oh, tariffs, the US. And we've kind of established a minimum 15% baseline tariff. Some countries are higher, but the underappreciated thing, I know you had Jameson Greer, US trade rep, who is one of the busiest persons in DC. Okay, I don't know what he's rambling about. Basically saying inflation's not from the tariffs. I thought he was going to say something, and he just started talking about other stuff. Yeah, get the umpires out of here. That's right, Arch. You know. All right. NASDAQ back over 25,000 here. Where's all-time highs on the NQ? Isn't it like mid 25s? 25 force. 25.39 force to be exact. We asked people, when will gold futures hit $5,000 an ounce? 30% say this year. You guys agree with that in chat? Do y'all think gold hits 5,000 this year? If we continue on this path, maybe. If the shutdown lasts a really long time, maybe. Market makers know Bitcoin bulls expecting a euphoric top, so they're not going to give it to him. Yeah, Bitcoin back down to 111s now, under 112s. Probably. Bank of America execs say strong Q3 momentum positions the bank for robust performance through year-end and sustained organic growth in loans, deposits, and fee income. Ooh. See what yields are doing despite all this stuff. Yields are probably down. I'm assuming. They haven't really changed at 4.017%, but they're down in the day for sure. Does gold hold at 4,200 right here? I'm looking at it. The SPY is moving too. Nvidia back up to 185s. You know, Nvidia hit all-time highs, 195.60s. Last Friday gave it all back. Back up some of the way here. Steve must be talking about the GOAT. Green day, red day. Yeah, I mean, NASDAQ's back up to over 25,000. It's a little extended up here, but we might continue to run. Again, it just depends on what gold does. I'm not sure. Tariff or at most a one-time price increase. Maybe. Nvidia may cross $200 this week. Tan Bear, what's up, man? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, so the Australia oil seeds are running on the president's, you know, threats of restriction of seed oils imports. $240 by Christmas for Nvidia. Let's do a poll. We did a poll this morning about when we're gonna hit 5,000 an ounce. Let's do another one. When will Nvidia break $200 a share? This month? This year? Next year? Something else? And comment. Vote on the poll. Will Nvidia hit $200 a share? Even a runner just in case we rip up. Yeah, I mean, I think it's an interesting market here. We're over 25,000. We've been testing it most of the morning. We'll see what happens. All right, looking at the poll we just did. 50% think we're going to hit that this year. 21% think this month. 21% also think next year. 5% think something else. 30 days. Yeah, AMD's up. Definitely up. Besson said we've narrowed Fed chair search down to 5 candidates. We're not going to come in and take stakes in non-strategic industries. We have to be careful not to overreach in taking stake in industries. The U.S. Canada is back on track. Private sector is coming into rare earths. He said we'll meet China's Xi Jinping before the Xi-Trump meeting. He said when you face a non-market economy like China, you need industrial policy. He said there's a very good chance I go out to Asia early before the president does. He said we will see trade announcements during the president's Asia trip. He said about to finish up with Korea on trade talks. We'll see an announcement during the Asia trip. NASDAQ getting higher here. Maybe on trade optimism after Besson speaking, but... I believe AMD takes over AI chip. Just follow the money. Big funds loading. When do you think it'll get 250? Yeah, it looks like a majority of people think AMD or Nvidia is going to hit 200 this year. 54%, over half of the votes. AMD is actually competing. China has to deal, lest they be left in dust. Yeah, kind of, but... All right, NASDAQ back down with a big dip under 25K. Let me make sure. I don't think this is a Besson related drop, but I'm making sure. U.S. Trade Representative proposes modification of Section 301 action over China's targeting of maritime logistics and shipbuilding sectors, according to the Federal Register. Again, Besson also said we might ask U.S. defense companies to do less buybacks. We did have this big drop, but we ended up retracing it pretty quickly here. Market is fake. We're being played. In what way? I'm not saying you're wrong even. I'm just saying in what way is the market like that? Yeah. Everybody was calling AMD Advanced Money Destroyer before that huge jump. Yeah. I like AMD chips better. But for computers. Like I got this thing right here. It's an AMD chip. Although I don't really like the computer afterwards. I like ROG, but this thing's got an AMD chip. I don't buy the whole AI factory story. Hit play. It's 7,000 if he goes. I don't know. We'll see, brother. We'll see, man. Seems real to me when I have a red day. It's still real to me, damn it. You know, that's all I'm saying. Buying both and see where I'm at in 10 years. Gold back up over 42. NASDAQ testing highs of the day again. We're at 25.17. I haven't really traded it. I don't really like the edge right now. Besson on surge pricing gold. He said more buyers than sellers. There's a ton of bears on AMD even when it dropped from 125 to 75. All right, guys, 30 minutes into the opening bell, give or take here. Again, third quarter profits at MS surged 45%. Oh, man. Besant, let's just repeat the obvious. I mean, he's going to reciprocate, like, again, you got to know which side. Bowman's going to say similar things as Besant. They're all going to say the same thing. The other side is going to say, Moran's going to say the same thing as well, right? A lot of the others are going to say the opposite when you get into, like, members of the Fed. So it just depends. And again, I'm not even saying I disagree. I mean, I think Besant could be right here. You know, we could be early in AI and see a big bull run. Like, it doesn't, you know, people get too tied to different stories, but I think it's much safer to go into markets understanding that any of that stuff could happen, right? Like, if you act like something's 100% certainty, you're priming yourself to lose huge amounts of money, right? It's better to go into it with like a diversified mindset of like, this could happen, you know, all these different things are possible. You can't go into something saying this absolutely has to happen because it never does. 5 strong years of this run. The question is, when did the AI boom start? All right, if we look at Nvidia, the AI boom really started 2020. Look at Nvidia, 2021, maybe, you know, maybe 2022 here. You can say it started. That would be, it's been going for 3 to 4 years. If that's true, we're 3 to 4 years in. The question is, you know, objectivity makes life better, 100%. You gotta be open-minded here. Essence says U.S. growth might be similar to the late 1800s or 1990s era. He keeps bringing the 90s into it. I'm wondering if he's doing that on purpose. What's he saying by that 90s reference? Yeah, if I had to compare this market to anything, I think I'd compare this to the, you know, the Buffalo boom of 1883. You know, I just completely made that up. But yeah. Yeah, good times. You know. Don't get me started on Comcast. I hate Comcast. Comcast might be my most hated public company ever. All right, guys, here's 9 a.m. Let's see what happens. They don't give me, I got a fiber optic company that gives me, I have like 1250 gigs right now. I've got 1.25 gigs is the correct way to say it. I've got 1250 megabits per second right now. $75 a month, bro. Screw Comcast. $75 a month, 1250 megabits per second upload. Screw Comcast, bro. All right, NASDAQ testing highs of the day. We're at 25,025 right now. That was a big one. I still remember. What, you mean the Buffalo boom of 1883? $75 a month, fiber optic, 1250 megabits. That's what I'm saying. And I think Comcast is genuinely in trouble. I think AT&T's in trouble. I think Verizon's in trouble. Somebody used the argument of like the internet was going to make these companies resilient. I disagree. I think a lot of smaller fiber optic companies are getting pretty big in a lot of neighborhoods. And I think they're going to lose money because nobody's going to get into a long-term contract for a phone anymore. Yeah, I just think, yeah, I'm just not a big believer in, maybe it's confirmation bias. Maybe I just don't like those companies and I want them to fail, but. I don't know. I think I get up to 2 gigs, to be honest. You don't really need anything close to that, though. You know? Yeah, Comcast's problem. Comcast's problem is you'll be like, hey, how much is my bill? The salesman will be like, hey, bro, your bill's $100 out the door. You know, $100 net. That's your bill. And you're like, this is after fees and all your stuff, right? $100. And they're like, yeah. And you're like, okay, cool. You know, you get the bill. It's like $260. And you're like, hey, man, what the heck happened? You told me $100, bro. What happened? And they're like, I never told you that. Your bill's $225 plus fees. And you're just like, yeah, you did tell me $100. You know, I know you have the recording. Go back and listen to it. And they're just like, no, we're not doing it. And so there's no accountability for the reps. They're earning commission off of you. And so they just don't want you to cancel. They're going to tell you whatever they want to tell you, regardless of whether it's true or not. Allegedly. Okay. I hate Comcast. I really do. I don't have them anymore. Felt so good to cancel them. It's not a reasonable company, I think. Anyways, we just tested the highs. Han just sent me this right here. Real ones know. Okay, real ones know. Yeah, no, 100% encrypted. 100%, brother. It's 1.25 gigs. I can show you my internet right now. I'm not going to tell you the company. I don't think it's a nationwide company. I think it's a local company that does mine. But it's a small company. Sometimes they'll go door to door and they'll be like, hey, we can build fiber optic for you. You know, all your neighbors are doing it. It'll be cheap. They're small companies, you know. So I mean, I can write off some of my internet anyway, so it doesn't matter too much. Anthropic reportedly getting ready to move off the sidelines and do more acquisitions, according to the information citing sources, considers targets that could boost AI models and products as well as the underlying technology. Apple also unleashed the M5, the next big leap in AI performance for Apple Silicon. Apple Vision Pro upgraded with the powerful M5 chip and comfortable dual knit band. The Apple Vision Pro getting some upgrades in terms of chips. Anthropic also getting ready to start acquiring companies, according to the information citing sources here. Honestly, reasonably, like a 28.8 MBS modem, MBS modem should be sufficient for a large majority of people. The only reason you need that, like a gig plus internet, is if you're streaming like I am, right? Like you need a good upload speed, you know? And I travel around and stream and do stuff. Usually if they have like over, I would say over 75 megabits per second, over 75 MBS, it's fine, right? Over 75, the stream's running, it's fine. Like it's fine. 1.25 gigs is kind of overkill. Like you don't really need it, but it's so cheap. It's just kind of like, I can write off some of it anyway. Like, let me just do that. Yeah, I don't have an HOA. I don't like HOAs. I wouldn't buy a house in an HOA neighborhood. Yeah, trading, you need a good hardline connection for sure. But again, an upload speed's good, or a download speed's fine for trading. I don't know. I've had them for 4 or 5 years now. All right, so again, we're rejecting at this line right here, this 25, 25, 26 level. We broke the highs technically here, but we're now pulling back down. Let's watch 25,000. We're getting pretty close to the opening bell here, so. See if that 25,000 holds. NASDAQ is back up pretty significantly here. Bitcoin's still dropping though. Bitcoin down to 111s. Right now, AMD up to 223s. Still on crutches, John? No, I can walk. Look, I got a big stupid boot on. But I can walk right now. Right. I'm not going to show you guys my walk, but I can walk. Nothing hurts though. Like, none of it hurts. Like, my leg doesn't hurt. My foot doesn't hurt. I hate this boot. Probably more than the crutches. When I was in the crutches, bro, I was moving. I could move around in those crutches. I could go sideways. I could do all kind of stuff. Yeah. There's a top 3 joke in there somewhere, but I'm just not even going to try. I should have got a scooter, honestly, reasonably. All right, guys, we're back down to 25,000 here, 25K. You're gonna have a little gangsta lean. I should buy a pimp cane right now with how I'm walking with this boot. I think it would give me a better vibe, you know, a better, what do the young people say? I think the young people say aura. I think it'd give me a better aura right now if I had a pimp cane. I'd get a hat, you know. I'd walk around like that. I bought a bell the other day just to bug my family with it, like a bell, you know. My family hates me right now. All right, we're back at 25,000 here. If we hold. Is Bessent still speaking? No, Bessent's done speaking. Okay, that's good. All right, guys. We got the opening bell in 20 minutes. 20 minutes. Yeah, I don't know what words are cool right now. I really don't. I have to ask my kids. Like, I know all the young people now are wearing, like, really baggy pants. I'm going to tell you this. From somebody that grew up in the 90s, you're going to make fun of yourself in about 6 or 7 years. Maybe 8 years, I would say. I'll give them a little bit of time. You're going to look back at pictures and be like, I looked freaking ridiculous. I'm going to be real. That's the truth. Right? I grew up in the 90s. It's not the first time, like, ultra baggy pants are cool. This is absolutely true. Yeah, I was watching that, all right, NASDAQ still sitting here at 25,000, rejected at 25.25, gold sideways, AMD sideways, Bitcoin's down. I'm waiting for stuff to happen. We got some news, but nothing's really going on. I'm waiting for the opening bell here, guys. I was watching that movie with Owen Wilson. What's hold on. All right, so AI startup Poolside and CoreWeave are planning a massive West Texas data center. Bank of America says Apple iPhone lead times hold steady. Bank of America says shipping times for iPhone 7 Pro and Pro Max have remained stable as of October 13th, averaging 13 days for Pro, 20 days for Pro Max. 14-day lead time for the base model is longer than usual, suggesting strong demand, lower supply. Bank of America reiterates a buy rating of Apple at 270 price target. Again, Apple also talked about their new chips coming out this morning. Anyways, I was watching that movie or that show. What's the new show with Owen Wilson about golf? No, the new golf one. It's like, name's Price. I don't remember the name of the show. Stick? Yeah, it might be Stick. And the kid on there just got ultra baggy pants hitting the golf ball. First thing I thought is, this looks ridiculous. Like, it's not even a reasonable thing to wear during golf, right? Like, during golf, shouldn't you not wear that? You know? All right, gold back up to 42.10s here. Not sure Happy Gilmore 2 came out. Yeah, it's basically Happy Gilmore, but with a younger guy, you know? Quantum stocks are in a bubble. I think they're incredibly... They got incredibly high PE ratios, most of them, quantum stocks, and a lot of them are not even profitable yet. I think it's really early. I don't know if I call it a bubble. It just depends on if they follow it. It depends on if they, like... It depends on if they grow into the potential they have right now. I think quantum is probably one of the next big technologies, and so high PE ratios are basically a sign that people are optimistic regarding quantum. But if it is a bubble, generally we'll see something in which, like, they're either really hard to monetize, they take too long, some other new technology comes out that's better, and, you know, like, there's a lot of stuff that could happen with quantum. But as of now, it looks like it's the next big technology. And I think we're seeing some front loading into that. And that's why it has super high PE ratios. It doesn't necessarily mean it's in a bubble, but it could be, right? Not necessarily, though. We'll see. All right, guys, we got 15 minutes until the market opens. Like, I know Epidemic Sounds keeps playing me Christmas music. Some of them I like, though. I like some of this Christmas music. I'll just let this one play. Yeah, gold back over 4,200s. NASDAQ pretty sideways right now. It's still close to highs. Here's the high of the day. So we're close enough to highs where if we get some momentum at the opening bell, we could break over it. Gold's still over 4,200. Yeah, a lot of people think Bitcoin is going to get hacked by quantum. Not hacked, but I think it's not even hacked, right? It's I guess you could call it a hack. It's more so that, like, Bitcoin, you mine Bitcoin through solving algorithms, you know? And the theory is that eventually quantum will get to a point where it can solve those algorithms much faster and thus mine more Bitcoin in a faster way, you know? And then that will deplete the supply of it, and, you know, there's consequences of it. That's a theory. As of now, it's not really capable of anything like that, but that's a theory. And Bitcoin is up there, and so if it was possible right now, we'd already see it. Yeah. I'm a little hurt, but sold Rigetti before it went nuts. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not really a thing right now, so probably won't matter anyway. CoreWeave and Poolside, which is an Nvidia-backed AI startup, announces a partnership for data center built on sprawling ranch in West Texas. Or the private keys get hacked? Maybe. Italy is going to apply extra levy on Chinese imports to protect its fashion industry government. Via Reuters sources. Yeah, so right now the NASDAQ is kind of sitting between 25,000 and 2525, the top up there, the highs. Again, 14 minutes. Chicago Fed says U.S. retail sales, excluding autos, likely increased again in September. So even though we don't have the retail sales report, we do have some updates by Chicago Fed saying it likely increased. Yeah, I mean, famously, I thought GameStop was a short at $4. You know? And, I thought gold looked weak at 2,000. If it makes you feel better. We're all wrong about some things. Those are two I was definitely wrong about. So if you missed Rigetti, you're okay. All right, guys, I'm waiting for the opening bell here. We got 12 minutes left, 12 minutes. Quantum on an insane 2-week run. Yeah, they had a weakness and then they got balled up here. Where's Open Door, man? I haven't heard. I heard people yelled at me about Open Door for weeks. I mean, it's still. I mean, look. I'm not telling anybody to buy this, right? I'm really not. I don't know what this is gonna do. But if we're talking conventional flag patterns, again, I'm definitely not telling you to buy it. This is incredibly risky, incredibly risky. I'm not an investment professional. Also, check out Top Step if you haven't already. We posted the Top Step link once. Check them out again. I'll put the link up again. No PDT rule in futures. You can day trade the S&P, NASDAQ, Dow, Russell, gold. Most day traders lose money. And so you fund your own account, thousands of dollars, you're probably going to lose it. $50 a month. If you pass it, 50K funded account, 90% split. You get to keep your first 10K. If you fail, you lose $50 for the first one. Not the end of the world if you fail it. Great way to learn. Most day traders lose. Zero commission on Top Step X. Most reliable payouts in the game, and you can now reset your funded accounts. They're a sponsor, but I'm biased, but genuinely useful. Understand all this stuff on screen. I can't guarantee anything. Here's the link. Great way to help support the channel. And yeah. Yeah, open looks like a flag pattern, to be honest, is what I was going to say. That's why I call it a flag. But it doesn't mean anything. Could trap a lot of people. It's got to be a tiny float. What's the float of open? $700 million shares? That's honestly not as small as I thought it would be. That's a crazy run for 700 million shares. I mean, that 700 million is not big, but it's bigger than I thought it would be. All right, guys. Hey, 10 minutes into the opening bell. Let's see what we get. I don't buy meme stocks. Right, exactly. I don't either. Risk management just doesn't let me buy them in my head. I've been burned too many times. I got started with penny stocks. When I first started day trading, I started with penny stocks. Bad idea, you know? All right, we're back down to 25. Markets aren't really doing anything. You could argue the NASDAQ is in a bull flag right now here, really. Like, look. You guys think we go up or down at the opening bell? What was the last poll I did here? When does Nvidia break 200 a share? 40% think this year. 36% think this month. 16% think next year. I don't know. I think 110 is a pretty big level for Bitcoin. I don't know what it's going to do. All right, I keep losing the chat. I got to keep finding it. There it is. BBIA. When the Fed lowers the rate, does the dollar lose value? Yes. Yeah, Bitcoin down, stocks up. 7 minutes here, chat. Looking at other news, we just don't really have that much. Government's closed. We usually cover economic reports and stuff, but the government's closed today. So this is day 15. Government shutdown. Let's see what markets are pricing in for a shutdown. I looked at it a little bit this morning. People are now pricing in 35.1 days of government shutdown. That's roughly another 2.5 weeks. Roughly another 2.5 weeks. How long do you think the shutdown will last? Chat. Put the number up in chat. Let me know. See if markets bounce into the opening bell. We got 6 minutes left until the open here. Yeah, 6 minutes. And Besson said he narrowed the list. Who do y'all think the next Fed chairman is going to be as well? What's the list? It's probably Moran, Bowman. I have to look at all the other ones. Until quantitative tightening ends. Nah, it's not going to be 2 months. Month or two. 5 more days. I hope you're right, brother. I hope you're right. 15 would end today. I don't think we're going to end today. 30 days. It'll be 30 days, 30 days. A lot of people saying 30. When will quantitative tightening end? I don't know. I think December is my guess. Ending QT is a dovish thing, right? QE would be dovish. Low rates is dovish. Ending quantitative tightening, which is the reduction of the Fed's balance sheet, basically them selling off, not directly, but they're letting their holdings mature and run off and MBSs and treasuries. So it's a dovish thing, ending QT. I'm going to go with December. Yeah, we'll have CPI data next Friday. The next Friday we do have CPI. So Hassett, Walsh, Waller, Bowman, Rick Ryder. I'm going to go with Waller. He's the current Fed governor. Could be Bowman as well. Could be Hassett. I don't think it'll be Walsh or Ryder. I think it'll be either Hassett, Waller, or Bowman. I might be wrong, though. November after they get bad labor data. Maybe. All right, gold up to 4,200. What's up, Tiny? Yeah, I mean, normally when quantitative tightening ends, I mean, it's a dovish thing, right? Which means yields will probably go down and bonds might go higher. Yeah, Bitcoin down, market up, AMD pulling back, gold elevated. Heading into the opening bell in about a minute and a half here. Trump and Xi having a meeting soon. Sort out trade markets. Yeah. Yeah, Tiny. Leg hurts, but it's okay. I mean, the leg doesn't actually hurt, just to clarify. Not really. Like, I could walk on it fine. It's mostly just inconvenient. I've got a brace that doesn't let me bend it more than 60 degrees, and then I have this boot on that I hate. I hate the boot more than the brace. But the boot allows me to walk, I guess. Alright, guys, here's the market open. 40 seconds. 40 seconds. All right, here we go. 20 seconds. Hit the live button next to the play button. Make sure you're fully caught up. You can put it 2x speed as well. AMD starting to pull a little bit down here from these earnings. Or from the open. Let's see if it holds. All right, there's a drop at the opening bell. AMD's falling a little bit at the open. Look at this drop. Red open so far here, guys. Let's see if this drop continues now. Wow. Look at this drop. 24,975s here. Still too close to the open to trade, but we got a drop. It doesn't mean too much. AMD's falling, though. 221s right now. Bitcoin's falling still. Gold's not really moving. Nvidia's dumping down as well. This is microchip weakness causing this drop. All right, guys. Still dropping here. AMD back up to 222.47s. Nvidia down to 183s. I mean, this drop's nothing right now. It doesn't mean anything. We're just calling the opening bell. Doesn't mean it's going to hold. It could. It might continue down, but it's too early to tell yet. Originally, this looks sparked by Nvidia. Here's Nvidia on the bottom right here. AMD started pretty red too. First move could be the wrong move. All right, still getting more red, but look at that retracement back up here. Look at AMD bounce back too. Nvidia's still down to 183s. Yeah, oil's back up today. It's been pretty cheap, though. It's at 59.20s right now. All right, guys. We are now 2 minutes into the day. I might short a 200 exponential pullback. If we get back up to here, I might short it, but I need a bounce back here. And it's going to be one mini contract here, and we'll see what happens. Bitcoin back up a little bit, almost to 112s. Apple must be dropping right now if the market's still testing lows, huh? Yeah, Apple's down. Should have shorted, but it's a little late now. AMD's back up though. Gold's down to 4,200. It's kind of following the market a little bit. Bitcoin back up to 112 plus. AMD's over 224s again. We're fighting our way back up. Short this up here. We add one more to this. This is a challenge account, by the way. So, like, if we fail, we fail. I'm going to take one off and eliminate some of this risk here, though. We're still up 300 plus on the day. There we go. Add to this. There we go. Take half off. Take another off there. So we're up about 700 now. We caught the big rejection there. Nvidia's starting to test lows of 183 right now. AMD's up though. Bitcoin's trying to get back up. Apple rebounding a little bit as well here. Still testing this low level at 24.5 or 24.967. Okay, so we got some stuff going on right now. Treasury Secretary Besson and U.S. Trade Rep Greer are holding a press conference on the economy. Hold on.
Agreement. It's not a secret. It's out there. It's published. We keep our tariffs low. They keep the rare earths low. We have not imposed our reciprocal tariffs on the Chinese since that time, but now the Chinese have expanded their rare earth controls. We have complied. They have not. And so in this context, this is how China has announced its new and extremely expansive controls on rare earth materials just last week. It's a clear repudiation of everything we've been working toward.
Nvidia is still breaking lows,
which was a stable tariff situation and a continued flow of rare earths. The short story is that we've had compliance, and the Chinese have escalated, and they've taken this opportunity to make a pretextual claim of noncompliance or other measures to justify this. But the United States won't stand for it. We're in close communication with our allies who have expressed similar views and who are similarly affected. The President has signaled some of the actions we are taking or may take if the Chinese implement this system of controls on the world. Mr. Secretary.
Good. Thank you, Ambassador Greer. And again, thank you all for being here at Treasury today in the midst of this shutdown. We call on the moderate Democrats in the Senate to be heroes. Be heroes. Break away from the hive of radicalism and do something for the American people, because we are starting to cut into muscle here. We believe that the shutdown may start costing the U.S. economy up to $15 billion a day, and this is a decision the Democrats are making. And one of the reasons that they are not being held to task is because the mainstream media is not coming at them the way they would have if the Republicans were willing to keep the government closed. It is a very simple decision. Mike Johnson passed a clean CR. Leader Thune has the clean CR. 3 Democrats have voted for it. And right here, right now, I am calling for the moderate Democrats to.
All right, so it's getting a little too political. I thought they were going to speak about U.S.-China relations, and they did a little bit, but I don't want to just make the whole thing political on either side. Like, I'm very neutral with all this stuff. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I'll keep watching it, see if they say anything relevant here. If he starts talking about U.S.-China relations, I'll cover that again. We're short again. We've made a little bit of money, but I'm going to see if we start breaking down here. There we go. I cover it here. Don't retrace. Come on now. I'll give it a second. It looks weak right here, but there we go. All right, I'm out. Yeah, we're up about 900 on this one today. I'm going to switch accounts, lock this profit in on this one. Yeah. Here's a low of the day, or low of the opening bell break here. Yeah, he's still talking about the government shutdown.
And magnets were flowing quite well. Some U.S. auto companies have called us in the past week and said that there had been a slowdown in magnets. So when we asked the Chinese about this, they said, oh, it probably had something to do with the holiday. Had something to do with the holiday. So they can't be trusted with the global supply chain, had something to do with the holiday. Moreover, this should be a clear sign to our allies that we must work together, and work together we will. There will be a series of meetings this week during World Bank IMF Week, and we are all aligned. Not only is China fueling Russia's war, but China's actions have once again demonstrated the risk of being dependent on them on rare earths, and for that matter,
NASDAQ
anything.
testing lows at the open again.
If China wants to be an unreliable partner to the world, then the world will have to decouple. The world does not want to decouple.
NASDAQ still breaking lows.
We want to de-risk. But signals like this are signs of decoupling, which we don't believe China wants.
This is Bessent,
And again,
Treasury Secretary
we
Bessent.
do not want to decouple. We should work together to de-risk and diversify our supply chains away from China as quickly as possible. China says that these rare earths are used in military materials and that they want to maintain peace in the world. Again, it is the purchase of Russian oil by China that fuels the Russian war machine. China buys 60% of Russian energy.
All right, Nvidia down to 182.
They buy 90% of Iranian energy. So who is fueling the Russian war machine? We will be producing photos soon, supplied to us by the Ukrainian government, that shows Chinese parts comprise substantial amounts of Ukrainian drones. So President Trump is the leader of peace. We should work together to de-risk and diversify. China's highly provocative move comes after we've made significant efforts to de-escalate tensions. While there are substantial actions we could take, we'd rather not. I believe China is open to discussion, and I am optimistic that this can be de-escalated. Ultimately, we are confident in the strong relationship between President Trump and President Xi. We've had substantial communication with the Chinese over the past few days, and we believe that there will be more forthcoming this week. With that, we can now take your questions. Elliot?
Great, thank you. First question, Eamon Javers, CNBC.
We're up pretty big on the day here on everything here.
Name-checked a Chinese.
All right, so now they're doing a Q&A. I'm going to turn this off and cover the stream. This is my P&L on multiple different accounts today. So we're doing pretty good. Pretty good. No losing days. So we ended up buying this dip here and you know. But we are up 224 in one. We're up 100 in another. We're up 960 in another. So pretty good. Pretty good week so far. We'll see if we can continue this. But yeah. Should I trade with this guy talking? He's doing a Q&A right now. And so there's certainly risks at this point in time based off of everything going on. We're hearing some optimism, though, regarding U.S.-China relations. I don't... Hard to tell. Hey, nice, Corey.
Not. He showed up uninvited in Washington and said, quote, China will cause global chaos if the port shipping fees go through. So I don't believe that China wants to be an agent of chaos, and maybe they used to have the wolf warrior diplomats. So, you know, maybe he thinks he's a wolf warrior.
Here's the link if you guys want to see it. This is the Bessent speech. Yeah, I don't think either one of them necessarily want problems. We're the single largest buyer of Chinese goods in the world, and without them, we're going to deal with inflation. So. NASDAQ back down, testing lows. This is mostly driven, it looks like Nvidia. Nvidia continues to break all the way back down. So Nvidia's been big range but volatile lately. Like you can kind of see Nvidia's falling back down to 181.70s right now, 181.70s. NASDAQ giving back some of the gains it made today here. NASDAQ just cracked lows of the opening bell. Still very red on the day, or very green on the day for the NQ though, but we are filling some of this gap on the downside now. Nvidia is part of the reason. Again, look at Nvidia since the open. Yeah, the background music might have helped the speech, you know. Really reinforced the importance of it. Bitcoin holding, you know. Apple up too, so everything's not down. All right, we're bouncing back up here. Treasury yields are almost at 4% even right now.
To paraphrase the Secretary in one of our recent meetings with the Chinese, this is the last time we want to be talking about rare earths with the Chinese. Fortunately, that is not the last time they want to be talking about it. The reality is there are a lot of areas where we can trade with the Chinese. Our trade is wildly imbalanced, so it needs to be more balanced. And there's a lot of, as the Secretary said, areas of risk. And so we need to be trading in areas that are low risk, that are low
NASDAQ
sensitivity.
flying up right.
And there are a lot of areas.
NASDAQ flying up. Look at this move. It could be on the best in speech. Yeah, Greer says there's room for positive relationship with China. That's what we just played. We want this to be the last time we talk about rare earths with them. We are expecting Chinese restrictions not to be implemented and go back to the prior agreement. They're drafted but not implemented in terms of Chinese restrictions. President's still expected to meet with Xi in Korea. All right. So, yeah, very volatile market right now. Y'all just be careful. We're trying to cover the news for you, but a lot of stuff going on. Kind of difficult to really make money. I would be careful. I'm up a lot today, but I got lucky, I think, here. All right, we're right back down here. Let me see what he's saying.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary, Ambassador Greer. Really.
Yeah. He said we would like to see more U.S. retailers on the ground overseas in China. This looks weak right here, to be honest. But with Greer and Besant speaking, it's risky. We're gonna trade a challenge account if we're gonna trade it. Look, there we go, and we got the drop. There we go, and we are out there. We are up 1,400 in that challenge account for the day. That's it. That's all we need, I think. I think that call was luck. To be a top 3 luckiest ever though. It looked heavy, but I think they might have said something. Let me look.
To be able to use this to push back against this Chinese overreach against the world. So if it was not clear to anyone on the court before last week that the president needs emergency powers to protect the American people and the American economy, then it should be abundantly clear now.
Look at Nvidia. All right, so look at Nvidia. Nvidia's fallen down to 181s, guys. It's giving back a lot of the gains it made. It's driving this weak market. Bitcoin down too. NASDAQ down. It just looked heavy right there. Again, I'm going to say this once. I'll say it again. The 200 exponential moving average, guys. I tell you this every day. The 200 EMA, powerful. Markets look at it. 1 minute charts respected, especially for some reason. Look at where we pivoted to each time. 200 exponential bounce, 200 exponential dip. It doesn't mean it's going to happen every time. Sometimes we're going to rip over it and continue. But like as a pivot point, it's pretty accurate. We're down to 24.9 even. We might bounce right here. Technically it's right here. All right, there's the bounce. Let's see if it holds now though. Bassett said the president needs emergency powers to protect the economy. U.S. Defense Secretary Hegseth says if we must take this step, U.S. Department stands ready to do our part. All right, guys, let's see. Watch Nvidia. And here's the bounce at 24.9s. Again, if you look at whole dollar numbers as well, right? Like whole dollar numbers make sense. Why? Because traders focus on them. It might continue down here, but you get a little pit stop at these levels sometimes, like you see here. Like, look at this level. Like, this is a $40 bounce up here. You know? It might continue down, but see. We get anything tomorrow? Philly Fed Index tomorrow. That's something. Better than nothing. Ugh. Wait a minute. Why does Bloomberg have the labor report slated for Friday? Why? It even has an expectation for non-farm payrolls and unemployment on Friday. ChatGPT just gets stuff wrong. We do have industrial production numbers October 17th. It's not payrolls, but Friday we got something. U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, they rescheduled. Look at this bounce back here. Again, where did we tell you it would bounce? You're welcome. Morgan Stanley CFO says they expect modest gains in fourth quarter. Top 3 greatest bounce level ever right here. AMD, guys, up to 228.50s. Nvidia bouncing back here as well. John, how do you rationalize trading crazy high contracts on the challenge, but then low contracts on funded account? To be honest, I'm going to be completely real. It depends on how much money you have. $50 is not, I mean, I'm not bragging. I'm going to preface this with like, look, I'm not going to brag here. This is not what this is. But I would prefer to just pass it quickly, you know? Usually the way I pass these challenges is like I get like $500, $700, $800 days. I usually look for $500 to $800 days. And so if you're okay with burning a couple, do what you got to do. Yeah, it's a weird start, but we're back up here. We're back up to almost 25,000. Again, I don't know if this is Besant and them speaking.
Final year, the trade deal was reached with China on January 20th. He was going to expand the tariffs to the world, and then COVID hit. And out of humanitarian necessity.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I have 4 funded accounts right now. I have to activate the 4th one. But I usually play with my, like, I'm able to rationalize it in terms of, like, I can trade risky in my combine accounts. When I trade my funded accounts, I usually play pretty freaking safe. Look at AMD, guys. 230s for AMD. Where are all-time highs? 244 all-time highs for AMD. AMD is back up here. Again, Besant says the U.S. has told China that tariffs could be paid by export country on importer. European allies must be willing to follow on tariffs. Yeah, AMD is flying up here, guys. I'm trying to see if AMD has any news right now. It might not. OpenAI reportedly working on a 5-year plan to fulfill its massive spending pledge. Multiple analysts raised the price target on Nvidia this morning. So that might be driving this too. But man, 231s for Nvidia. Huge rip. Look at this rip. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 green candles in a row. Greer says it took months to restore magnet flows. NASDAQ back over 25K, or yeah, close to it at least. AMD up to 232s right now. All right, they are done. Besant and Greer are finished speaking. Yields are down. Look at yields this morning. Look at this drop in yields right now. So yields are down to 4.003%. NASDAQ back over 25,000 here. Yeah, I'm still looking about this payroll. NASDAQ testing highs of the day. Sometimes first move is the wrong move. Yeah, AMD has pretty good views from HSBC, and Nvidia got a buy rating earlier from HSBC. Still trying to figure out why it says this NFP scheduled for October 17th. All right, NASDAQ up to highs here. We're up to 25,025. Basically, this is highs of the day. AMD leading the way here too. That rhymed, you know. Yeah, the official NFP report still delayed indefinitely. BLS made it clear that almost all of its operations, including the jobs report, are suspended during the government shutdown. They made an exception for CPI, which is coming out on the 24th, due to a legally mandated deadline for calculating Social Security. No such exemption is for NFP, though. Investing.com and some other forecasters have a tentative date as October 17th that they said based on precedent of the 2013 shutdown. But it's not an official announcement by the BLS, so it's probably not coming out day after tomorrow. I hope it does, though. Let's see if it does. Again, at least we'll get CPI next Friday. Fed's Moran says there's more down. Bro, we got all kind of Fed speakers. Moran says there's more downside risk than a week ago, according to CNBC. Fed's Moran. NASDAQ tested highs again at 25.25 here. Yeah, we went down a lot. Now we're up big. Look at AMD run. Look at us tap this 25,000 level here. Again, check out Top Step. Great way to learn how to day trade. Limit your risk. Most day traders are going to lose. I lost 4K in 3 weeks, 2 weeks trading. Limit your risk. Try Top Step. $50 a month for the base one. You pass it. Don't trade like me. Trade reasonable. If you pass it, 50K funded account, 90% split. Your first 10K in profit after you're funded. You get to keep any profit you build after you're funded. For up to 10K and 90% split afterwards, which is similar to funding your own account. You fail, you lose $50. You can now reset funded accounts on Top Step. 0 commission on Top Step X. Most reliable payouts in the game. And I'll put the link up if you want to help support the channel. They're a sponsor of mine. I am biased. This is only the 3rd plug I've done in 3 hours. 1 an hour. I think that's pretty reasonable. Check them out. NASDAQ just broke highs of the day here. Look at the NASDAQ rip over that level. We're now at 25,034 high of the day now. It's now 10 a.m. The spike is mostly due to, I think we got Moran speaking right now, but Besson and Greer are done. I don't know if it's any of them. Apple's spiking up too. Thank you, Jeremy. Appreciate it. I wasn't really looking at Apple, but you're right. Apple is spiking up to 251, 251.50 almost. Yeah, this spike is now Apple. New high of the day is about 25,040 right now. Again, Moran says, with the change in the balance of risk, more urgent to get a more neutral policy. U.S.-China tension potentially important for outlook. Look. Difficulty knowing the neutral rate exactly. It's even more urgent to get a neutral rate quickly now. Airbus says Germany orders 20 new Eurofighters. NASDAQ up. Bitcoin back up a little bit. Alright. I'm probably going to close it down here. Looks bullish right now, though. It doesn't mean it's going to hold. Maybe we're sideways, but it looks bullish. We're breaking highs of the day, starting to rebound back up. Apple's up. AMD is up. Nvidia is still down from the opening bell because that's kind of what drug the market down. Gold is now spiking higher. Before we close it down here, there's gold. We'll see. But yeah, I'm probably just gonna get out of here, guys. See what happens. It's been a wild market, and again, let's see if it holds. Tomorrow we got Philly Fed Index. Friday we have something going on, but at least tomorrow we got the Philly Fed Index. I appreciate you guys watching me. Thanks so much. We will see what we get. Hey, thank you, Steve. Appreciate it, brother. Thank you, sir. Yeah, I try to help. Try to cover what's going on in markets, really. Bank of America, August. Master Trust net change off of 2.44%. Previous was 2.29%. Delinquencies at 1.34%. Previous was 1.37%. Again, Moran's speaking right now on CNBC. If you want to watch Moran speak, here's the link to that right here. Yeah, give me a follow on x.com, on Twitter at Beginner Trades. I appreciate it. And again, as soon as I close this stream, it should immediately bring you to tomorrow's stream. If it doesn't, you know, you can always just find it on our page. And yeah, I'm going to get out of here. Appreciate the love. Thanks so much, guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great day.